Louie Varland looks pretty good. Let's break it down on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. Today is Wednesday, May 10th. I am Frank Sample, joined by Scott White. And let's talk about Louie Varland, who had a strong start up against the Padres. 6 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts with 14 swinging strikes. Scott, the overall numbers don't really show it, but the strikeouts look good. The swinging strike rate looks very good as well. 29% rostered is Louie Varland. Are you looking to add him?
Yeah, I would say so. He has an impressive ability to miss bats, 14 swinging strikes on 95 pitches in this one. And that's something we've seen consistently from him in his sporadic appearances in the majors. It's with a diverse arsenal. 5 of those whiffs came on the fastball, 4 on the cutter, 2 on the slider, 3 on the changeup. He has seen his prospect stock rise over the past couple of years with improved velocity, that new cutter pairing very well with that slider. But he doesn't have like it's not like an obvious ace profile. He doesn't have that wipeout pitch that really sets him apart. And so you look at his minor league numbers, big strikeout rate, kept the ERA down too, but the hit rate was high, the home run rate was high. I don't think there's a huge ceiling here for Louie Varland, but he is going to get some run with all the injuries in the Twins rotation. He does have strikeout ability, and I think given the pitching starved environment we're in right now, you're not going to do much better off the waiver wire than Louie Varland.
Would you drop either of Brandon Pfaadt or Jack Flaherty for Louie Varland?
I would drop either of Brandon Pfaadt or Jack Flaherty for Louie Varland, both of whom were just dreadful on Tuesday. And in fact, I think it's pretty likely Pfaadt gets sent back down. So, not done with him forever, but it's been pretty ugly so far.
All right. Yesterday, we spoke about Dylan Cease and his struggle, Scott. Let's talk about Alek Manoah, who continues to look broken. He was at the Phillies on Tuesday, 4 2/3 innings, 3 runs, 4 walks, and just 1 strikeout. Only 3 swinging strikes on 94 pitches. He's got a 4.83 ERA. The walks are way up this season, allowing more hard contact, hits, home runs, and the swinging strike rate is way down, Scott. What do we do with Alek Manoah?
I mean, I guess you just sit on him. I don't see what else you can do. Obviously, not going to trade him. But it started out bad and it's only getting worse because it went from being, okay, he's not throwing enough strikes, he's walking too many guys, this is out of character, but it'll come around. Now in his last 2 starts, 3 swinging strikes in each. So the stuff isn't even playing like it should. And that's very worrisome. It makes him unusable at the moment, I would say. But at the same time, in baseball, often it's a very small adjustment that could lead to major changes in performance. It could be a mechanical thing. It could be a lot of different things, but things can change very abruptly for pitchers who we know, who are as talented as we know Alek Manoah to be, pitchers or hitters for that matter. And it wouldn't shock me if next time out he throws 7 shutout innings and strikes out 11. So that's why you can't dump him. It's at some point, if this continues into the summer, maybe we'll get to that point. But right now, you can't dump him, and you just got to hope he turns things around.
All right, we had a bunch of outfielders emerge here on Tuesday, and just names that have been playing well in general. Lars Nootbaar went 1 for 4 with his 3rd home run of the season. Harrison Bader went 3 for 4, and he is crushing the ball since returning from the IL. Jorge Soler, a double dong, one of which went 468 feet off of Brandon Pfaadt, who we spoke about earlier. Jurickson Profar, 2 for 4 with a double dong. TJ Friedl, 2 for 4 with a triple, 2 runs, 2 RBI, and his 4th steal of the season. And Christopher Morel's first game back in the Cubs lineup, 2 for 4 with a sock and a shoe. Scott, who are your... Let's go with 3 favorites from that group: Nootbaar, Bader, Soler, Profar, Friedl, and Morel.
I mean, Nootbaar's a clear number 1. It's a little ridiculous to me that he is available enough that we can talk about him in this setting, because he was, maybe the trendiest outfield pick of draft season, and he's pretty much done exactly what we wanted him to do. He did miss that time with the thumb injury, But since coming back, he's batted leadoff mostly, played against lefties and righties, reached base at a 400 clip. Enough power and speed that to round the whole thing out, like not huge power and speed, but enough. It's sort of a Brandon Nimmo, Christian Yelich profile, maybe the best of both worlds. And Lars Nootbaar, I would say, is must roster. My second favorite is probably Jorge Soler. Huge exit velocities. Of course, that's true every year, and it doesn't always translate to big numbers. In fact, it usually doesn't, but he has had the 48 homer season in the past. He did have that half season with the Braves where he was must start, and maybe he's doing it again. We can at least hope for that if we have a need in the outfield. Third choice, it'd be between Jerkson Profar or Christopher Morel. I think it depends whether you want to shoot for upside with Morel or whether you need security with Profar. Profar's off to a terrible start this year, or he was prior to this 2-homer game, but he's still an everyday player for the Rockies and one who often bats leadoff for him. So that could be valuable if he performs like we've known him to in the past. Morel had huge minor league numbers, but big strikeout issues and playing time questions too.
For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Audacy app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.